Welcome back. In this video I'm going to talk to you about one method I use to get organised when I'm doing horoscope writing. So this video will be for those of you who are sort of beginners or intermediate astrologers, and for anyone who does want to do forecasting or prediction for horoscopes in general or for people in particular. And if you know, I've been doing horoscopes for quite a while now. I write for online publications. However, to get organised to do horoscope writing does take quite a bit of effort. So when I get organised to do horoscope writing, up until now I've been doing it in my handy journal, which I love. I'm quite a big journaler, bullet journaling and getting organised, living in colour. That's really how I like to do my astrology through Astro Art and so on. And then this year for 2022, I am happy to say that I now have the Starzology Astro Planner and Starzology 2020 Astro Planner, Astrology for Self-Care. And this is a planner that I've prepared, I've done, made all the content, and it is available now on Amazon. And if you're interested, you can certainly get a copy there. Previously, I have had PDF downloads straight from my website, and certainly you can still get the 2021 one from there now if you want to. But the maintenance of that is quite overwhelming, the administration of the whole system. So I've decided to put it into a little handy book that you can just pick up from Amazon and work from there. So what I'm going to show you in this video is what is in this book and how you would use this book and the benefits you may find if you actually decide that you want to do some horoscope writing. So let's get started. So for many years, when I've been creating horoscopes for months ahead for my clients and so that they can post them in their blogs or magazines or whatever, I like to get organized with my astrological information, and I track 3 specific things. Now normally I put the stuff in a journal, and I just want to show you how I do it by hand. So this is an example of July 2020, and there are two sides to, clearly there are 2 sides to this page. So what I do is, because I'm right-handed, I do all the writing on the right hand side. I list the month clearly, I put the dates in the first column, 1 to 31, I then put the days of the week in the second column. Next, I'm paying attention to the phases of the moon. So in the middle, I put the 3 things that I'm mainly tracking, which are the ingresses, which is when the planets change signs, the retrogrades, stations and directs, and the lunations, the new and the full moons. And I'm tracking those mainly. So there's my lunar ones there. Also now on this far column, this will tell you which sign the moon is in as it moves throughout the month. So over here I break it down into weeks, and my weeks start on a Sunday, and then here I'm saying, for instance, Mercury moves into Cancer on the 11th of July 2021. So that was for this year, and I put that there. And then the other planets that are changing signs are here. Venus going to Virgo, Venus going into Virgo, Sun going into Leo, Mercury into Leo, Mars into Virgo, and here I have Jupiter entering Aquarius retrograde. So I'm making a note of that. I'm also writing the actual position of the full moon over here at 126 Aquarius, and the new moon there at 1802 Cancer. And I do put the other quarters in as well, so I'm really tracking four of the main moon phases, although I only really pay attention when I'm doing horoscope work to the new moons and the full moons. And then on the right hand side, I draw the actual chart. I have got other videos about that, and I will link them below. And what I do is I colour it in. I set it for 0 Aries, and I put all the planetary positions, which planets are changing signs. They're going from, Mars is going from Leo to Virgo and so on. Jupiter's going retrograde back into Aquarius, and that's what I do. So I colour the planets in the way I like the colours to be, and I colour all the signs in the way I want it. And I've been doing spreads like this in my astrology journal for many months and many years. And in previous years, when I created my Starzology Astrology Guide for Astrologers, basically it was this information, the 3 main points of information that we're trying to track. So if you're writing a horoscope, say for this week, you could say, well, the full moon on Sunday, blah 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 blah, and then Venus enters Virgo, and for you, if you're a Cancer, it'll be a particular 3rd house, and you would talk about Venus entering the 3rd house, and it helps you as an astrologer see the movements that are happening in the month and being able to formulate some forecasting information for general horoscope work if you're doing this type of thing. So for the last few years and up to this year 2021, I've issued a PDF version of the Starzology Astrology Guide that you could download as a PDF from my site, which is working fine. It's I think it's $5 or something. It's not a great expense. But the management of actually doing the PDF downloads, and then people can't open the link and this and that. And it recently happened when I was away from home on a micro vacation, that someone actually emailed me and said, I can't download this file. I didn't get the link, and they were anxious about it all. And I had to deal with this when I was away. So when I came back, I thought there has to be an easy way for me to just manage this. It really is a simple thing. I'm trying to give budding astrologers and aspiring astrologers a way to start working with horoscopes without getting too deep to start with. And so then I came up with taking this method and putting it into a book. So this year I have created the Starzology Astro Planner, which replaces my handwritten journals. I'll put that to one side. This just says not for resale because it's the author copy, but it's the Starzology 2020 Astro Planner, Astrology for Self-Care. And let me just go through a few of the points in this book. Pretty much you just write your name there, who you are, and so on. And I have some information here about what's actually going on in the book, with the monthly pages, weekly pages. You have an opportunity here to draw your chart in, which I did, of course. You go with your pencil or your pen, and I've actually just drawn my chart in there, and I may embellish it further as time goes on, but that's your opportunity there. Full month here. We then have a full annual planner if you want to do other types of planning as well. And on this page, what I have got is the zodiac sign glyphs. So the glyphs are on the outside for those of you who don't really know, and I've coloured in the fire signs here, because if you know anything about the colour wheel, where you've got red, yellow and blue as the primary colours, in astrology it's quite simple. Aries is red. If you can remember that, you've got everything. Leo is yellow and Sagittarius is blue, and from there you hang the colour wheel on the actual chart. So this is how I do it. So Gemini, for instance, would be orange, because that's between red and yellow, and Libra would be green, which is between yellow and blue, and Aquarius would be purple or violet, between blue and red. And then those are the secondary colours, and then your tertiary colours would actually be the Taurus, which would be a blend of like tangerine between red and orange, a tangerine, and this would be like more of an apricot colour. Virgo tends to be a lime green, and you'll see that as we go through. But this is a clue that you take the primary colours and you can colour in, so that you're trying to learn things as well. Next up, I've got a list here of the 2022 eclipses. This is very specific if you're interested in eclipse work at all. It'll tell you a little bit about each eclipse, solar and lunar. What is their position? Yes, what the position is. No, where's the position? Yeah. It will show you the position, it will show you the date, what time it's going to happen, universal time, and that's for everyone around the globe, and the type of eclipse it is. And of course, if you're into eclipses, you would definitely go deeper and cast these eclipse charts and look into them more closely. But they're listed here for 2022, the 4 eclipses that are happening. Then I have a little chart here showing the modern sign rulers. Again, if you are pretty new to astrology, this is quite showing you that Aries, which is what we had previously, is ruled by Mars as a modern sign ruler, and that's the glyph for Mars, in case you don't know what it is. And then if we come over here, this is Scorpio, and the modern ruler for Scorpio is Pluto, and there's Pluto's glyph. So these are just going to help you out if you don't know much about astrology and you're not quite sure what the planetary symbols look like. Next, I have a list of the 2022 full moons and the new moons. And I've just gone ahead here. So when we have full moons, this is our list. And I've just coloured in the lunar eclipses, because they are interesting points in any astrological year. That's there. There's the 2 lunar eclipses for the year. And then over here, I've just highlighted the solar eclipses, the 2 solar eclipses that are happening in 2022 as well. This list also shows you that we've got 2 new moons in April, which is kind of interesting. So this one would technically be a blue moon, but you know, there's lots more that can be said about these. And I've got all the positions of these new moons and the full moons, because I do use them when I'm doing forecast work to say, yes, you know, the new moon in Pisces at 70 or whatever it is. I would say, yes, the new moon in Pisces at 12 degrees will affect you if your birthday's when the sun is there. So that's something that as an astrologer you want to pay attention to as well. Next up, I have the Mercury retrograde periods, which are always an interesting thing. So I've got it laid out this way, so you can see that this is where Mercury is going to retrograde over that part of the zodiac. It then will come and retrograde over this part of the zodiac, and then it will do its third retrograde period over that part of the zodiac. And each time, each of the three main retrograde periods for Mercury is crossing sign boundaries, so that is something to be spoken about. It's always going from air to earth, air to earth, air to earth. There's a theme there already. And then at the very last couple of days in December, at the very end of the year, it actually goes retrograde again, but that full period will technically be in 2023. I have got it in there, but it's not really a main area. You would really be looking at that in the 2023 forecast period. So that is your Mercury retrogrades for 2022. And again, I've just coloured it in so I can see where they are. I then created this rather fun Astro word search, and I can't tell you how long it took me to make this. We are talking days and days and days for me to sort this out. And it's really straightforward, a word search. You say, oh, Pluto, and there's Pluto. Anyone who's done a word search know how this works. And then we have equinox. So we're also diagonally coming down backwards, if you can see that there. And you would just come in and say, oh, yes, there must be another. What can I see here? So I've got, ooh, what do I have? The sun is over here. And I could then just go through and find it. And this is kind of a fun thing. So with the Astro word search, this took me days to create this. And then actually I spoke to my daughter and she said, oh, you can go to this website and they'll do it for you. And I couldn't believe it. So maybe next time I will do that. But this was totally and utterly worked out all by hand. So any errors are mine. But knock yourself out and go and find all those Astro word search. And certainly if you do find the words, you know, give me a thumbs up down in the comments that you managed to win at the Astro word search. So that's just a fun thing there. We have a page for notes. Then we start off with the January. This is your full January monthly calendar where you can add your bits and bobs. And technically what I would do in this position is put my transits. So if I've got Venus conjoined my sun, I would write it in on these dates and I would focus this book to be me. This is a working book that you want to work with so you know what's going on. Then we get to the main January page. And this is very similar to the journal page that I was doing in the past. It's just a bit tighter. So we've got the date, we've got the day of the week. I then have the 4 lunar phases that I'm just mainly kind of tracking. I have the sign that the moon is in or enters on that day, universal time. And then these are what's happening with the planets. We've got ingresses here. Mercury's entering Aquarius, Mercury's going retrograde, Uranus is going direct. So there's your 2 stations going on there. And here's one, Mercury enters Capricorn going retrograde. So all of those ingresses and retrogrades are listed in this column. And I'll show you later, I do colour them in as well. Then on this side of the page for January, this is the chart for January 2022. From the 1st of January to the 31st of January, these are the movements of the planets. So in January, the sun will be in Capricorn. And during the course of January, it will enter Aquarius. Here we've got Venus is in Capricorn, it's retrograde, and it will go direct. Here we've got Mercury in Capricorn, it enters Aquarius, stations retrograde, and goes back into Capricorn, all in the space of January. Mars is going from Sagittarius into Capricorn. The big boys really aren't going anywhere, except Uranus, which is retrograde, will station direct and will go direct during the course of January. So these are the planetary movements from the 1st to the 31st of January. And then on this ring here, I've got the new moon symbol. Where is the new moon occurring? It's happening in Capricorn. And where's the full moon? Oh, it's in Cancer. And the main reason that you want to be having it set on the 0 Aries is that, so when I'm doing a January horoscope for Aries, I will say, oh, well, the full moon is going to be in your 4th house to do with family, home, and your roots and so on. But if I was going to do a chart for a Virgo, I would take this and rotate it to put Virgo on the ascendant position. And then I would say, where's this full moon now? Oh, it's in the 11th house to do with friends, associates, and group activities. So that's why you set it for 0 Aries. And for each horoscope you're writing, you move this to the ascendant position and you can see where these planets are in their houses in relationship to that ascendant sign. And that's why we do it that way. So now I want to show you, I've actually coloured one in here for May. I'm just going to find it. Oh, there's a couple more pages to go through. I also have a lunar mood tracker. It's what it is. We got the 28 days, so it's this lunar cycle. It doesn't stick directly to the month, but however, if you are tracking the moon and you are paying attention to how are you feeling during this cycle, you can write your notes in here. You could use it as a habit tracker for mood and so on, or you can just say when the moon is going to be conjoining your Mars and your Venus and your Sun and write it in here. It really is up to you during the course of that month. Then we get onto the weekly pages. So January actually starts right here on Saturday. That's where we've got the tail end of December. And then we get onto a week. Each week is listed on a page. So we've got from Monday, Saturday and Sunday here. I've also now added lists and notes here for your transit. So here you would write Mars conjoins my Sun, Jupiter squares my Moon. Your transits would go in here for this week, and any other notes that you want to make. Of course, it's actually, you want to use this as a working planner where you're saying, I've got an appointment. Oh, I see, but Mercury's conjoining my Sun. That would be a good day to make a good impression if I was having an interview or something. So you'd write notes here, or somebody's birthday or whatever. So the point is that you would put your transits here and general notes about what you're doing in your day. So each week in January will have its own page. This is a planner. So it's a working document. Then we get to the end of January, and here's our February monthly page for the month block, and moving on to the February, what's happening in February. So I have coloured in May, because I will colour them all in, because that's kind of who I am. Oh, July. So I coloured in July, and this is how I actually work. It's just the same as working with the old journal, because I like to work in colour. I'm not a black and white person. What I've done here is I've coloured the banner in, because the Sun is going into Leo in July, so that gets the Leo colour. Remember we said that of the 5 signs. I then colour in as the moon is changing signs, so I can see the flow during the mood as it's shifting through all the different signs. I then have all the movements here, whatever I'm saying. Mars enters Taurus, Mercury enters Cancer, Venus enters Cancer, Mercury enters Leo, and so Jupiter turns retrograde on that point. Again, with the 4 main phases of the moon, full moon, new moon, on this side. So everything's written down here. And of course, you can add more stuff in here that you are tracking. If you are particularly interested in the nodes, you would put that date and that information in here. Then when we come to the left-hand page, this is how I colour this in. Again, we've got Aries is red, Leo is yellow, and Sagittarius is blue. This is how I hang the colour wheel onto the signs. They all hinge from Aries. So I've done that. I've then coloured in the July in yellow, because the Sun is entering Leo in July. Now on the inner circle, as you can see, the new moon is actually going to occur in Leo. When the Sun is there, it will be, the new moon will be in Leo, and the full moon there is going to be in Capricorn. And what I've done is I've shaded this, because this is when the night's going to be way darker. We don't have the light of the moon, and this is symbolic in astrology, whether or not we have light of the moon or not. And then over this period through Capricorn, we definitely have full moon. We've got the lighter half of the lunar cycle. So I tend to shade it lighter here, and I make it darker, darker, darker. So it's a visual way of looking at it. I then also put in the positions of the transiting planets for July from the 1st to the 31st. And so what we got here is the Sun's going into Leo, Mercury's going through Cancer into Leo, Venus into Cancer, Uranus is going nowhere, Mars is entering Taurus, Jupiter's making this retrograde movement, which is highlighted here as well, and then the other planets, basically, they're just where they are. And this is how it's going to be for July. So again, when I'm doing the July horoscopes and I want to do a horoscope for Gemini, I would turn it. So I've got Gemini in the ascendant position horizontally on the page, and then I can say quite clearly, oh, the Sun's going to enter your 3rd house. I could say the full moon's going to be in your 8th house, and talk about that. And that's how you use it. So when you're doing your horoscopes, you're actually turning the page, because you can see where the planets are. And that is the beauty of this system, I think. It's a system I've been using for months and months and months, and I don't know what took me so long to finally get it into a book, but it kind of makes sense. So you can colour this in the way you want to. This is how I do it. This is how I've been using it, and why I've moved from the actual handwritten journal to this book. And that's how you can use it as well. Further on, I did I coloured one in with markers, which are much more vibrant. I'm not quite sure that I would do this again, but anyway, once more, these are the Tombow markers I'm using here. Once more, we've got Aries is in red. I highlight Mars, and then I colour in the moon's signs here, and all the planetaries as they're moving. I also do the lunar full moon. The moon is lighter. We're in the lighter half. Things are more illuminated. Then we're in the darker side during that period of the month as well. And again, what I've got here is what are the planets doing. Mercury's is going retrograde. It will station direct, and then it will go through into Libra, into Scorpio during the course of October. So I can see clearly what these movements are. What I'm trying to show here is that you could either do it in pencil crayon, which is the first way I did it, or you could do it with stronger markers and use this. This is a working planner where you're going to be adding things that are of interest to you astrologically as well. When I look on the back, it depends on your marker. Some of them have come through a little bit, and that's probably, you know, I may not do markers next time. It is quite vibrant, it is quite strong. I would probably just go back to just working with the pencil. Where am I? Let me just show you that again. Where is it? Gosh, you can never find anything, can you? Oh, I don't know where I put that. Oh, it's right here. I've got the page. So let's just get to it. So this is when it's coloured in with a marker, very vibrant, very dynamic, and why not? And then this is coloured in with a pencil crayon, which of course doesn't bleed whatsoever into the back. And it's a lighter touch altogether. You can do a bit of shading. It depends what you like. This is really quite a fun thing to do as well, because you can clearly see which planets are going where, you know, and it's up to you. The point being that this is how you use this planner. It's a working document. You need to add the bits that interest you. You could put the nodes in. You could put your asteroids in if you're working with them, and all the rest of it. Then just towards the back, we just have a couple of blank chart pages where you might want to just, I don't know, redraw your chart, draw your partner's chart or something. This is just a couple of pages there at the back, and that's our book. So this is the Starzology 2022 Astro Planner. So there we have it. I've gone through how I use my horoscope writing journals and this new book that I'm talking about, how I like to colour things in so it is more meaningful for me, and you will do your colouring and you will do it your way. I want to give a thank you to my editor, Norma, who went through and helped me with the small details here just to get all the facts correct. So hopefully we are good. What I'd like to hear from you is, how do you gather your information to get organised for horoscope writing, and what method do you use to get the facts together, or do you just wing it? It would be interested to know. You can write that down in the comments below. I'm Alison Price. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.